Seboom. Seboom. Yo, hello, and welcome everybody to the first episode of Beatbox Talk, and we have no one less than the one and only Footbox G. Bro, thank you so much for joining.
No worries, man.
How are you, man?
I'm good. Thank you. I'm also very happy to be here. How are you?
Thanks. Like, I'm really excited. I'm also a little bit nervous because, I really enjoy what you're doing, and I told you before when we were chatting, you are one of those new beatboxers with such a clean, fresh style. I read a comment, one of your videos. The guy wrote, um, "Footbox G is capable of making every sound into a snare."
I remember I saw that one as well.
It's so cool. And dude, you have so many fresh sounds. And yeah, this stream is all about how to beatbox, improve beatboxing, and so on. And the first question is like, how long are you beatboxing? Like, when did you start, and what was the impulse for you to get started?
Well, I started 8 years ago, and I remember that I began because of an application that I downloaded. I was in a period where I was experimenting with gaming and also with downloading musical apps. So I was like, I'm gonna do a mix of those two. So I was actually just enjoying playing on a keyboard on my iPod Touch, but without any musical knowledge or something or music theory. I didn't have any of those. And when after a couple of months, I downloaded a Beatbox app, and I didn't know what Beatbox actually was. So when I downloaded it, there were like 6 touch bars, and when I touched one bar, then the iPod Touch said, and then the other touch bar said, ksh, and the other said, irre, and so on and so on. And so I was playing with it, so I had the result like, irre, irre, and yeah, so I was continuing doing this, and I really got my brother on his nerves on that one. It was really funny, I remember. Yeah, so that was actually the beginning, but then I was wondering how far that beatbox could get, and I was on my computer and I looked on YouTube and I typed like world championship. No, I didn't type this. I typed like beatbox battle, just random beatbox battle. And then all of a sudden I saw Skiller versus Alem World Championship 2012. So I clicked on it. Dude, and yeah. I was blown away. I was like, how in God's name is this possible? So whatever happened in my head, I knew that this was the right direction to follow. And so I said to myself, like, why are they able to make those sounds, and why couldn't it be you? I was like, I need to figure this out. So yeah, and at that time, I was trying to beatbox when I was gaming at my PlayStation and playing on the keyboard, and yeah, I had fun. And all of a sudden, I stopped gaming, and I was just beatboxing non-stop and training, and now I'm here.
Dude, like, I'm glad that you took this path, man. And it's funny that it was games and apps that brought you there, because normally, like, you hear the stories of, yeah, I saw a friend of mine, and then he just took me in and he just showed me everything. But you started it actually on your own, and then you met the other guys.
I need to admit that when I downloaded the Beatbox application, that all of a sudden I must have made a sound at school which looked like beatbox, but all of a sudden one of my friends came to me and they said, "Hey, you can beatbox, right?" And I was like, yeah, a little bit, just a little bit. And I said, like, okay, I'm going to introduce you to, his name is Logan. I'm going to introduce you to Logan. I was like, okay, that's cool. So I was like doing like doing those things. And all of a sudden Logan said, "That's nice, but can you do this?" And I was like, whoa, what's that? And then I waited a couple of weeks and I said like, beatbox might be interesting, but it's his thing, and I'm going to just have some fun. But I think this is not my path. And then like after a couple of weeks, I was like, how good can someone be in beatbox? And then I found before I watched Skiller versus Alem, first I saw Green Effects versus Caleb Simmons, and that was a dope
Mm-hmm.
battle as well. But it was because of Skiller and Alem. Actually, those two beatboxers convinced me to start. And after that, I also saw Robeat versus Babali, and,
Yeah,
I knew like, okay,
classic.
I definitely want to learn this. So it began.
Do you, I heard a very interesting talk 2 or 3 days ago of Maddox, and they were talking about when is the point, what is a beginner beatboxer and what is a mediocre beatboxer? When is the point where you say not a beginner but mid skill? When do you think there you make this jump?
I think you make this jump as soon as you have the basics mastered. And with the basics, I mean sounds and rhythm
Mm-hmm.
and feeling it. If you have those things, then I think you can go to a next level. And the next level would be looking for more. And more would be
Mm-hmm.
like more
Mm-hmm.
could be extra sounds, or the body movement is also a skill that you need to have as a beatboxer, just as an artist in general.
Yeah.
Um, just as soon as you have the basics and you're making the step to look for more, then I think you're
Mm-hmm.
on the intermediate bridge.
I see. I see. So, soon as you are preparing your own sets and starting.
Yeah. As soon as you think like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I have my small pack,
Mm-hmm.
now I can move on. As soon as you
It's
make
so
that step,
true.
I really think that this is the moment when you open yourself up to new stuff, and that's the moment when
Yeah.
inspiration is coming, and also when you're actually
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
starting to
So
grow.
true. And also, you sometimes have beatboxers who just the first sound they learn is a lip roll, or they go straight for the vibration based stuff like that, but they don't have the basics yet. I think to have special sounds is cool, but to be ready to move on, you need those basic sounds to.
Yes, I really think that it's cool if you have the lip roll learned even before a random regular case snare. That
Yeah.
might be cool, but with the lip roll, you might not be able to control your rhythm or something, if you get me. A
True.
a baby will walk first and then he will run. So as a beatboxer, you also are born as a baby. So got started by this, right?
You get reborn. You get
Yeah,
reborn
yeah.
as
So
as as a new
that's
person.
how it felt.
About taking paths, um, like I personally, I can remember certain sounds very good. The path I took to learn this sound, to improve the sound, to bring it to point, even to have people talk with me, like even knowing the sentences the people said to me one word by word, because for some reason this was a important sound for me. Do you also have a sound that you remember the path of learning this sound pretty clearly?
Yeah, it was the hollow club. Like it took me, I think, 8 months to get it. Watching those techno beatboxers over and over and over, and all of a sudden, I I get how they did it, and then it was just a matter
Mm-hmm.
of training and making the tongue as strong as it should be, and then things will come. But it's a matter of a lot of patience.
Mm-hmm. When you are, because as we said at the beginning, you are super creative. You bring so many nice new sounds to the scene. Where does it come from? Like where where are you getting all those inspirations, bro?
It's a good question because I would love to say that it's inspired by my favorite type of music, and that's
Yeah.
true. But it's also coming from other things like my favorite movies and my personal life and stuff. Because also that might sound cliche, but it's actually true. Because the for example, if I can watch I can watch over and over my favorite type of movie, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there are soundtracks in it which I like a lot, and then I feel like okay, I should beatbox in this way because it feels good and it reminds me of that moment, and then
Mm-hmm.
you bring a certain vibe, and then all of a sudden you also have uh, a kind of sound where you think like, oh, it doesn't sound like this, but I need to pitch it, and all of a sudden you have a new sound. But that might be my answer for groove and stuff. But I think that
Yeah.
my favorite sounds and the new sounds that I'm bringing today nowadays,
Yeah.
they are coming from my Spotify playlist when I try to listen to my favorite type of music, and that might be half time for now.
I when will come the Footbox G snare? Because I read in a comment, um, you got props for the fish
Hmm.
snare, and then one guy was like, normally the beatboxer coming up with the snare gets to name the snare, but in this case it's the fish snare. Um, I'm waiting for Footbox G snare, bro.
Yeah. Wi-
Would you be up for that?
yeah, sure. If you need to choose one snare or one sound, then
Mm-hmm.
what sound would be the Footbox G sound, do you think?
Of course, the kiss snare is like it's insane. I don't never seen. Also, the fish snare is like really sick.
Right?
That's and when you did the tutorial,
Mm-hmm.
that snare sound at the very end of it, this or a very I don't know, man, how you did the snare sound. I really enjoyed it. Like that's my favorite part of like a crazy snare sound. I don't
On the
know how
tutorial,
you did it.
you mean on
Yes,
the
at the very end.
on the tutorial, I
Yeah,
did the and the I think.
yeah. And it was really the timing of the and was so on. It really, I really liked that as well. So I would say kiss snare or fish snare. So but it's always up to the artist, you know.
Right?
If you feel fine. But when we're talking about beatboxes, I have one question. This is a little bit a tricky
Okay.
one. Name your dream beatbox crew of four beatboxers.
Ooh. Wow. Um.
That's tricky. I know. I'm sorry
Yeah.
for that.
Well, no worries. No worries. Um. I think I would go for Skiller Reaps one, Alexinho,
Ooh.
and let's say myself. It would be fun.
That's a good. That's a good crew, man. That's a very good decision. I think that's very cool. Having Reaps one, a guy who's so creative and has such a unique sound set, and then also Skiller being so unique, having his sound sets, and then you have Alex, who kind of can do everything. I have the feeling
Yeah,
that's really
exactly.
crazy, and then having you in it, kind of also saying you can go in every direction, would be really great to see that. I just saw some questions dropping in,
Mhm.
and one guy wrote, I usually start beatboxing random stuff without something particular in my head, but the results are kind of meh. Any advice to change?
Mm, yes, I read a book about this problem. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Effortless Mastery of Kenny Werner. He's a jazz musician. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, it's as soon as you as soon as you bring out an idea and you actually start to listen to it, you will always have the feeling like, oh, it's not good, but it's just not good enough for now because
Mm-hmm.
it's the first
Mm-hmm.
thing that comes out. But it's actually it's a bit like drawing something. You might have the
Yeah.
first idea, but sometimes you need to erase it, or sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
need to have patience and to work on it even more. But as soon as you have patience and you respect the first outcoming of it, then you need to,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say visualize, but uh, you need to look in your head and imagine how it would sound like if it was done properly. And at that moment, you
Mm-hmm.
will start to work on every single detail until you feel happy
Yeah.
about it. But the best thing you
Mm-hmm.
can do is, well, as soon as you start um, dropping out the first idea, then you should tell yourself, wow, this is nice because it's out. And then you can work
Mm-hmm.
on it. That's what Kenny Werner said in his book. He said, like,
Mm-hmm.
you should tell yourself, like, that is the most beautiful sound that I ever heard. And it kind of makes sense because you're just judging that thing. But if you judge it objectively, then I think you will have a clearer vision of what needs to be worked on. And
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
everything will come faster or better. But the outcomings are, in that case, very cool.
That's some really nice advice, bro. Like very inspiring. Like that's going deep. I like that really.
I,
And as you say, to build so much pressure on yourself, even before you need to give yourself the space to explore it, and maybe by recording the stuff and then going over it properly again. I think that would help. But as you said, like to judge something before it's complete, that's really, really you kind of destroying things for yourself.
yeah, it's true. And also, when you're judging immediately, it's like saying to yourself that this is the result, but it's just like the current thing that you are making, and it's not the result at
Mm-hmm.
all. I think you also shouldn't hesitate to ask to friends what they think of it. But I would say different type of friends. Might be one beatboxer and then one non-beatboxer, and then in the third place, a really honest, good friend who will tell you the
Yeah.
truth. I will smack it in your
Yeah, he's
face.
get out of here
um,
with that.
but no, I forget it. But I should do that.
Dude, because while we are already giving feedback to all the people watching this interview, Footbox G, he said he's okay with that. We got some videos sent by you guys, and we will watch now two of those videos, and we will analyze the video, give some little feedback, what you can improve. Bro, thank you for so much for joining in the fun. So I will share the screen with you right now.
Perfect.
And for you guys in the chat, I will change the view, the view, sorry. And we will just get started right away.
That's sick.
So
Can't wait.
this is a beatboxer called Samuel Plieger,
Aha.
and he's a very young beatboxer, and he's really happy to get some feedback. So if you can't hear anything or something like that, please hit me up. But I hope things will go smoothly.
Perfect. I'm ready. Let's go. Is something's playing because I cannot hear it yet.
Oh, see, that's perfect. Thank you. One more time. Boom, boom, boom. So now I think I should have fixed it.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go with the rhythm. With the rhythm.
Wow.
Nice. Really nice, really nice. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I did as well. How old is Samuel, if I may ask?
I don't know really, but I think he's about 14, 15-ish, something like that. I'm not too sure.
Man, I started when I
Um,
was 14.
yeah, that's really great. I saw Samuel at the Austrian Beatbox
Uh-huh.
Champs, and we had a short chat as well. And he's very motivated, and there aren't many beatboxers in this area, so he's grabbing the most inputs from the internet. Really cool. Yeah. The mic is yours, bro. What do you think?
Well, I really enjoyed this session of Samuel, and I really think that he's already has a very nice and wide sample pack of special sounds and good sounds. Even the basics are nice. I can hear that they are very good, but I think sometimes, um, for example, when he announced his first special sound, it went perfect. So that's a 10 out of 10 to me. But sometimes I feel that the energy and the positive energy that he's flowing through his beatbox, that sometimes he get lost into it, and that's why sometimes um, he doesn't pay attention enough to one single snare that was important. So sometimes I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the end of the video, that a certain snare didn't game through, but I might be wrong because of
Mm-hmm.
this Skype conversation. But still,
Mm-hmm.
I think that every single sound that he produced, that actually separately it was perfect, and altogether it was still very good. But sometimes I had also the feeling that there were messy parts, but it's because of the positive energy that he has. So I would say if you
Mm-hmm.
even re-listen um, this shout out or this studio session, I would say that
Mm-hmm.
the messy experimental parts, I would even put it at the end to have the first whole part clear, and that it has a nice overview, so that at the end that you can still mess with the rhythm that he says, and so
Mm-hmm.
the whole structure and the whole complete thing,
Mm-hmm.
the yeah, I don't know how to say it, but like the complete whole thing, that it sounds
Mm-hmm.
more um just more nice to hear. That's a
Mm-hmm.
detail, but an important detail. But for me,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
this was already a very high level for someone who is 14
Yeah.
years old, but still in the
Yeah.
whole beatbox scene, this is something where anyone can enjoy of. So big up, Samuel.
Yeah,
I really
really.
liked it.
Really. Yeah, me too. Like this was dude. Like, like
The first sound that
that
came
did
in,
hit me hard.
yeah, that's I cannot do it, and I didn't have any clue how he did
Also,
it.
um, 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 and I feel exactly what you said. Like it's because there's so much going on to just relax a little bit and focus more on each individual part and chill. I think that would help him a lot because, as you said, these sounds are super dope. Like wow, wow. He's
Yeah,
great.
he's great,
He's really great.
definitely. I only think that in the structure there need to be a lot. I said a lot, but I didn't mean that.
Mm-hmm.
Some just a few things that need to be not replaced, but be changed of position, and just a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
attention to what's actually happening instead of what's going on in his head. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that those are the
Mm-hmm.
only things. But if I was now I'm 22 years old, but if I was 17 and I looked at this 14-year-old guy, then I
Yeah.
would have been jealous, and I would have jealous
Yeah.
issues as a beatboxer.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Definitely.
it's so good. The next generation, they're coming, man. They're
Yeah, they're
coming.
coming.
They're coming to get us. This is crazy. I just read another question. Um, um, also, Antrix, he was asking, how do you start doing routines? And have you any tips to make one?
The first routine will come to do the first freestyle. And if you love to do one type of beats in your freestyle, and where you already notice that you think like, I'm doing this over and over, it's because I like it. But how can I make this uh, part even more filled? So you might have a
Mm-hmm.
certain rhythm or some sounds that you are actually putting in that kind of rhythm or type of beat. And then you might think like, okay, how can a certain build-up sound like for this drop, if it was a drop? Or how can I
Mm-hmm.
continue this small little piece that I just produced? And then you can just put those things together. And a routine doesn't need to be 1 minute 30. You can already start with just 40 seconds. And after that, you can make a nice transition to do your next
Mm-hmm.
um, seconds that you have left. I cannot calculate for now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
can just line two pieces into one. Also, when you're actually constructing your first whole 1 minute 30 routine, if you want to battle. But a routine doesn't need to be 1 minute 30, not at all. But
Yeah.
the first thing
Yeah.
will start by the first freestyle, and then you can experiment. And experimenting is so nice and so lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much fun just to throw your stuff out
Yeah,
there and jam.
yeah.
So we have the next video. Unfortunately, this is the last video because we're running a little bit out of time.
Oh,
But guys, for everybody who's in the chat, thank you all for sending those videos. If you want to have your video be joined in, just send us an email or send us in the chat the name of the video, and next time we will add it to the video poll. But for now, this beatboxer is called
mm,
Caspian, and it's called Beatbox Freestyle number 1.
mm.
So let us see what we got there. So can you see in here?
For now, I can see yes.
Okay. Okay, I can hear anything as well. Okay, toilet.
Aha. And his smile at the end makes it so nice.
He's really enjoying it. That's nice
Yeah,
to
that's
see.
how you should beatbox.
So true, so true.
Enjoying at the same time.
So true. So yeah, what do you think? Where are the points? Like one thing that I kind of recognized there, he had some subharmonics on it. That makes it a little bit more difficult, I think, to. But yeah, how do you feel about it?
Well, I liked where he started, like really simple and easy, and at the end it was very energetic, and I love this kind of vibe where you feel like, okay, I have the space to enter his dimension or his universe, and then at the end it's like really energetic, and then it stops there and you feel like, oh, I just saw something. So that's nice. But I feel sometimes there are like small pieces or small holes where one part and a second part, the transition is sometimes too unclear. But I think it's the matter of taking your time to focus on how you want to go from the first part to the other one. It's a bit the same thing as I saw in previous video with Samuel, but here with Samuel, the difference between those two is with Samuel, I understand what he was doing, but with him, it was sometimes unclear to see what he was doing. But for me, that's it. I like the simplicity and the energy. So if he pays attention to the transitions, that would be cool. And like the first drop that he did was for me a little bit too late because he did this build up and then all of a sudden there was a new introduction. But for me, it was getting too late or something. I was already hyped because of the thing that previously happened.
You was already ready.
I was ready
to go.
I was ready.
Hey, bro, thank you so much. We're already at the final part of this interview. I'm very grateful that I was able to do the first interview with you. You're such a nice guy. Thank you so much, bro. And now for the best part of the whole thing, would you mind to throw us a little freestyle, please?
For sure, man, for sure. Okay, let's get this. You know this one. One more time.
Yeah, bro, thank you so much.
My
That
pleasure.
was absolutely lit. One last question. Are there any future projects or is there anything for us to watch out?
Well, I'm actually working on my biggest project very soon. Not going to spoil a lot, but there will be a kind of web shop opening soon.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
one thing. And the second thing I can say is that when spring starts, I will, sorry for that, I will release something on the music platforms. That's it.
Hey, people, you heard the man himself, Footbox G. Keep your eyes and ears open. I'm really looking forward. Bro, thank you so much for joining the
You will.
interview.
Thank you
I
too.
wish you the best of luck and hopefully we can hang out soon again.
I would love that, bro. All right.
Thank you, bro. See
See
you.
you
Bye
and
bye.
thank you